Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. Okay, welcome to today's video, which is going to be a first impression, and it's going to be chilled and relaxed makeup time with my pajama. And actually there is a connection to this pajama, so stay tuned because that is going to come up in the story time, and it's the first impression of this palette. This I received in PR from Metamorphosis. This is their Oink palette, and after that they came also out with a whole beautiful new collection. I think it's called Lily Croaks, which is also so beautiful. So just wanted to show you this is how the outer sleeve looks, and this is also how the palette looks. And then you open it up and it's a 9-pan palette that is pinkish. Okay, so this is how the palette looks. Let me just get this also a little bit closer to you. And yeah, so I received this in PR just recently from Metamorphosis. This is the first time that I'm trying this brand, and that is what we're going to do today. Okay, one eye is primed, and I'm going to zoom you in a little bit, and then wait, wrong way. And you know what, maybe I should show you my pajama first. Okay, at least the pajama top, because let me just get up. Okay, so it says here, wake me up for coffee. And it has a cat on it because I was looking for something with a cat. And I was actually also looking for something for my friend Nikki Raven here on YouTube, because we are exchanging stuff, you know, we're sending each other stuff. So I was looking for something for her, and in connection to that I found this. So anyway, and now we're gonna zoom in and we're going to start working with this palette. It's gonna be a pink look. Really. Okay, let me just get my my mirror a little bit closer and dab out the creasing. It's not so bad today. So anyway, I used the eyeshadow primer from Sigma, which is right now what I'm always using in the shade Ignite. That's what I'm using. Okay, so let's go into the story time, because you know what, this is like how YouTube used to be, people doing makeup and telling a story or saying something interesting and not just drama. So now I'm going to give you a story time. Wait, I'm going to go in with Bonita. That is the first shade that I'm going to use, and I'm sort of going to use it just fluffing it on, not really packing it on. So that's why I'm just sort of dragging it slightly here over my lid. Because I want to actually use it as a transition shade and then see how the shades build on top of each other. Okay, so anyway, story time. Okay, so when I bought this pajama and a couple of other things, I was actually in a local store, and this whole story is about, I met someone, one of you. I met one of you in a local store, and that was so cool. And maybe maybe if you're watching, if you recognize this story and you know it's you, hi, it was so great to meet you. So anyway, if you don't know, I live in Jerusalem, Israel, and which is, you know, it's the capital city of Israel, so it's not like a tiny little city, and I don't on a regular basis meet my subscribers, you know. Also, my biggest base of subscribers is in America and not in Israel. I don't even know as of right now how the statistics is. I definitely know that in America I have my biggest audience, but it used to be the second biggest was Israel, and then the third biggest was Germany. But I think that has changed. I think the second biggest is Germany now. So anyway, I had a morning off with my oldest son because he had to go to school, but he had a late shift in school, because back then they were still doing school in shifts, basically. Okay, in order to keep the amount of people that come into one classroom smaller, you know. So he had that week, he had basically a late shift to go to school, and I knew that we would have to go and get him some summer clothes because he is growing, he's growing. He's now 14 years old, and he is basically, I want to say he's bigger than I. He probably also weighs more than I, and he's like, he's gonna be a chunk of a man, you know? So he's 14, his name is Akiva. So, and plus I really, really like to spend time with him because it's so nice to actually have a child, and he's always going to be my child. I hope he's not embarrassed when he, when he hears me saying that he's my child. Because he is. He's going to be my baby for the rest of his life. Plus my first one, which is just also so special, my firstborn. So it's so nice to just have some quality time with a child that is not really a child anymore. You know, I never thought that that would be such a nice thing, such a nice feeling, because I was always threatened, or I always felt threatened by that they're slipping through my fingers, because once they don't need you so much for like changing diapers and feeding them, I don't know, mashed potatoes, you know, I felt like they are going to not need me anymore, and then they're going to slip through my fingers, and then I'm going to lose them, which is not true. They still need me. They need me in different ways. Of course, I'm not really changing diapers anymore, but they still need me, and I'm just sort of trying to find out what is the best way of me being there for them. Okay, so for my son, it is super important that I'm there for him, just for him, because he's the oldest of 7 children, and it is sometimes a bit hard on him, you know, because the smaller kids naturally get more attention because they just draw more attention to themselves. And the older ones, sometimes one has to make an effort to just have quality time just with them, you know? So I decided that I'm going to just switch my work schedule around a little bit and sort of make it possible that we can go out together. Okay, let's go in with the next shade and a different brush. And I think I'm going to go in with Peggy, with this one. Let's see how this one performs on top of the Bonita shade. Okay, as you saw, I went in super slow with not a lot of product on my brush, and also with a super fluffy brush, because after all, this was supposed to be a transition shade. And now I'm going to try to build this up a little bit more, just in the crease, so we create a little bit of a depth to the look. Okay, so anyway, we went to a local shopping mall because, you know, I had a couple of things that I wanted to get, and then in connection to that, while we were basically strolling around, we thought, okay, so let's go to the local Urbanica store. I don't know if that brand is known all over. I don't know, maybe. I have no idea where this brand is really based or anything, but it is kind of cool and very affordable clothing, and especially when it comes to buying t-shirts and shorts for my son, it makes a lot of sense to not like invest $1 million, you know, in the clothes, because he grows out of it so fast, and also they wear it down so fast. And you know, I'm personally not really buying there so much for myself because I'm very much into secondhand clothing and secondhand shopping, but for my kids, they like that too. I mean, Urbanica and other stores like that. Okay, I'm just gonna go in first with the first shade again, the lighter pink, and I'm just sort of dragging it here over the edge of both of them. So anyway, so we went to that store and we did some shopping, and we had a very good time, and I got everything for him that he needed, and we were just hanging out and everything, and then we were standing in line in that store. Okay, and this is the day when I bought this one, as I already said, this pajama. Okay, so we're standing in line to pay, and it's a bit of a thing in Urbanica, in our local Urbanica store, that out of the, I don't know, 6 or 8 stations where you can pay, there are only like 2 or 3 men at the time, and that is so annoying, because waiting times there are usually, it's an issue, you know. And then there was also there was a woman in a wheelchair who basically she made a big fuss, and I was like, okay, so anyway, she has a rough life, so let her go, you know, let her go first, because she was clearly not, I don't know, I'm not gonna get into it. Don't want to talk about it. So anyway, So we were standing there, we were getting closer to the pay station, and yeah, and then at some point we got there, and they started to like scan the stuff that we chose, and at some point we paid. Okay, so while I was leaning over and reaching, handing the sales guy my credit card, I saw in the corner of my eye, I saw someone approaching. And I was like, oh no, what is this? What is this now? What have I done? Because I never feel like something like this is something good. I always feel like, oh no, what's happening now? Have I done something wrong? You know? Self-confidence. Where are you? You know? So yeah. Anyway, and then this person came super slowly, like in slow motion, up to me very quietly and approached me, and she was like, excuse me. I turned around, yes, and she said, do you have a YouTube channel? And I was like, okay, so this is not going to be negative. That's great. And I instantly relaxed already a little bit. And then I said, yes, I do. And then she said, is your name Leorah? And I said, yes. And then the funniest thing happened, really, because this girl, it's not a girl, it's a young woman, let's put it that way. It's really hard to really put her into an age category. I would say maybe end of teens, beginning of 20s. Okay, so then this young woman started to clap her hands and bounce up and down and kind of high-pitched scream a tiny little bit. It was like, ah! Something like that, but much louder. So that was cool. You cannot imagine. Everybody in the store looked at us. Everything stood still. And I was like, God help me, what am I gonna do now? But she was the most adorable person ever, you know, and she was so happy, and she was like, oh no, I'm watching all of your videos and you're so amazing and your makeup is so amazing. Can you just close your eyes so I can see your makeup? So she talked so fast in Hebrew, okay? Oh no, you know what? I think it was English. But anyway, it was so cool. And so I closed my eyes so she could look at my makeup. And then, wait, let's go in with something else. What should we do? I kind of also want to try the pressed glitter, so I can tell you, which is this one here in the middle, so I can tell you how the pressed glitter formula is. Maybe let's put that on top of a shimmer. Let's put a shimmer on. Which one though? Maybe Queen. Maybe Queen, because that just makes sense, right, sweeties? Right. Okay, thank you for agreeing. Let me just get a brush and pick that up on a packing brush. Okay, so anyway, ooh, that picks up really nicely on the brush. That I absolutely do appreciate. So let's just put that on and see how that works. All right, so anyway, so she was super excited, and then she was like, oh, can we please take a selfie? And then we were standing there and taking selfies, and again, nothing moved in that store, you know, everybody was just looking. And yeah, I think a lot of people had like super big question marks over their heads because they had no idea what is going on, who is that person, and who is she talking to? Like, why is it such a big deal that she meets this colorful person over there? You know what I mean? So okay, performance-wise, this is, I think, in like the normal OG shimmer formula, how they used to be. What I always call a good solid shimmer formula. It's not like super foiled, as you can see. It's not duochrome or anything. Is a good solid shimmer formula, and as always I'm going to put it also on with my finger, because that's always what I do, like a top layer, which honestly doesn't really make much of a difference because I'm going to put the pressed glitter on top of it anyway. But still, I'm going to just try to create a nice backdrop for the pressed glitter. Okay, then let's also maybe use the shade Mud. The shade Mud, which is a dark brown, kind of warm leaning maybe. hard to say, we shall see in a second, to put that in the outer corner. Which brush though? Maybe this one. Let's try. So anyway, it was so cool. So I then asked her where she's from, and she was actually from one of the Arab neighborhoods in Jerusalem, which was so cool. I was so thrilled, you know. This is how it should be, you know, this is how it should be. And then at the end I just gave her a hug and I said to her, you just made my day, you know, this was so amazing. And you know what, it happens once in a while that I meet one of you, and sometimes, most of the time, I have no idea who that is, because not everybody is very visible in the comments, you know, so I don't really recognize names necessarily or something. But this was just incredible, you know, and she was so sweet and so excited. So excited. Yeah. And I think she even made her friend who was with her subscribe to my channel, or at least she made me look it up on her phone, and then I handed the phone back to her because she wanted her to see what I'm doing and why I am you know, apparently very important to her. Yeah, that was so sweet, and I was thrilled for the rest of the day, you know. It absolutely made my day, which is so cool, because I don't have a lot of special stuff really happening in my life. I'm just going through my life, being a mom of 7 and doing my thing and trying to, you know, kick my business off the ground, which has been very hard. And doing YouTube, which is part of my business, obviously. So I don't know, you don't really get that much positive feedback really in normal life when it comes to being off social media, you know, like one-on-one person, you know. I had a couple of experiences, but not like this one. This one really topped it all. It was absolutely fun and incredible. And while the girl was all excited, my son, who was standing next to me the whole time, he sort of elbowed me into the side and was like, under his breath, he said, "Mom, I think you're famous." And he was so proud of me, you know. And it's not really anything I do, I don't think. It's just, I don't know, it just happened that way, and it was just really nice. Okay, so let's just, should I blend the brown a little bit more? Maybe. Let's switch brushes, because it actually built really nicely there in the corner. I just want to blend it out a little bit more. And, or maybe I should use a different shade. Should I use Unique? Just in order to use something else, you know? So this is a bit of a terracotta, rusty kind of a shade. Is it terracotta? I don't know. Probably not. But yeah. So let's just sort of place this here in between the brown and the pink. And sort of just blend out the brown a little bit. Okay, so anyway, he was thrilled. He was very proud of me, and basically then at some point I gave her a hug and thanked her for, you know, making herself known, and because she just as well could have taken a picture from afar, which happens quite a bit, and people think that I don't see it. Well, maybe sometimes I don't, but sometimes people are really obvious. And then walk away. But in this case, you know, she just came up to me and made herself known. And I think it takes also quite some guts to do that. And I was really happy that she did, because it absolutely made my day. Yeah, and after that, basically, we took our stuff and walked out of the store. I wonder what happened after that in the store then, you know. I really wonder what happened. If anyone came up to her then and asked who was this or something, I don't know. But anyway, that was the story, and I'm just so grateful, because in the past it has happened to me that people met me in stores by accident, kinda, and asked me if I'm that Leorah with the YouTube channel. And I previously have maybe not always handled it so well, because I just didn't know how to react to it. and it created awkward situations, which I'm truly sorry for, because I don't want to make my followers you know, feel uncomfortable or feel like, whoa, this woman doesn't want to talk to anyone. I just didn't know how to react, you know, I didn't know. So anyway, let's take a brush, another brush, and now let's work with the pressed glitter, which is Lolly, I think. That's the one. And let's just put that, let's see how it picks up first of all on the brush. Yes, it feels really creamy. It picks up super, super nicely on the brush, if you can see. Okay, and then let's just see, oops, this way. How, wow, this is good. This is a very good formula, sweeties. You know, sometimes I have to build it up like crazy in order to get opacity, but this goes on super, super nice. I hope you can see that. In this case, I did not even need a shade underneath. This is beautiful. Wow. Metamorphosis, seriously, this is good. This is really, really well done. Really nice formula, super smooth and not kind of dry and crumbly or anything. You know, you also see that there is basically no fallout. This is amazing. Sweeties, just always use these flat concealer brushes. That is the best way, if you ask me, to apply a pressed glitter. Okay, so anyway, let me just sort of try to smudge it out here into that browner shade, into the mud basically, because that's the name of that shade. So yeah, this is really pretty, you know. What I'm going to do now is, I think I'm just going to, of course, also do something about the brown shade to blend it into the pressed glitter a little bit. And then I'm going to also take another kind of a rounded crease brush, if I can find one, and sort of run that over the edge between the pressed glitter and the, do I have a brush like this? Maybe this one. Something like this, you know? Maybe, I'll try. And I'm going to take the shade Unique, maybe, this one. And I just want to sort of run it a little bit over the edge here. I think after the fact I'm going to go over the pressed glitter, because every time you use mattes over or around pressed glitters, they sort of lose a little bit of their initial sparkle, as you can maybe see. That's a very, very normal thing to happen. I just want to create a little bit more depth around the crease here. But I think you can also see that it builds up super, super nicely. And there are already two shades underneath this, you know? So that is really, really nice. Something like that, maybe. Just so you know, it's a normal thing to happen, of course, that the sparkle goes away a little bit. But I'm going to just apply a little bit more on top of it, and then it's going to be right back. It's also actually a way to create more shades in a palette, you know? Just that's also something that you can be aware of. If you don't mind that the sparkle goes away, you can always put, or sort of feather a layer of any matte over a shimmer, and then sort of, maybe you also saw that it changed the color a little bit, and that is something where you can just use your palettes more, you know? So anyway, this is how the look is going to be. I am going to, of course, do a liner now and finish off my face. Then you're going to see, I think, you know what, I think the under eye area I'm just going to do off camera, and then we're going to just review this palette for a little bit, because I'm going to try to also use other shades here, probably also using this here for blush and stuff like that. So I shall tell you all about that. Then in the review part you will also see, of course, this palette swatched out in just a second, so stay tuned, it's all coming right up. my lovelies, here we are with the finished look and the finished styling, and of course the swatches that you just saw close up in the video. Okay, so this is how they look. Let's just quickly talk about the performance during the swatching. I think they performed super well. The lighter shades I had to build up a little bit, but usually, especially with mattes, I have to do that anyway because my skin is just, even if I do skincare, it's a little bit iffy. I don't know why eyeshadows don't swatch so well on me, but it's just, that's the case. Okay, but it is a bare arm. I have nothing on my arm in case you were wondering. Okay, so this is how they swatched. I think it looks super nice. Also here you can of course see the nice color scheme of the palette where we have some bronzy shades, of course that nice brown that gives enough depth for the whole palette, and then of course also the rosy shades and this spectacular pressed glitter. This, I have to say, is probably my most favorite shade, or let's put it that way, it was the biggest surprise in the palette because seriously I was debating, should I use it on camera, should I not, should I tell you later about it, whatever, you know, because I don't always feel like wearing pressed glitters in every single look, and I have recently just had a lot of pressed glitter to work with. So I was debating, but then I was, okay, so let's do it, you know, let's put it on top of the shimmer so I can also try the shimmer and also the pressed glitter. Kind of makes sense, you know, when you want to get an impression for the palette. And then the second my brush touched that pressed glitter, I already knew that this is going to be good. And then when I sort of smoothed it onto my eyelid, I think you could see, I hope you could see that it went on so smooth. And I so regret that I just recently made a video about my most favorite glitter formulas, because back then of course I hadn't tried this one here yet, and this is definitely ranking super high. I would say first or second place. You know, I mean, okay, this is the first time that I've tried one glitter of that brand. So I don't know if I can really judge it yet, but according to this one, it was beautiful. Really good. And if I say ranking high, I mean like really high, okay? Yeah, so anyway, I think that this was really nice. Okay, so let's also zoom you in so you can see the look up close. For a inner corner highlight, I actually used the highlighter from P. Louise, which is the one, let me just check. This is the one Happily Ever After, which is like a golden highlighter, which I also used here and of course here. It's all the same. For the blush, I should point out, I actually used two shades of the palette. I'm going to show you in just a second so you can see. Okay, so anyway, let's move you back out. Okay, let's show you the shades that I used as blush. I used this as a base, and that was a little bit too light for what I wanted to go for. So I then backed it up with this one, but just a hint of this one, and then blended them together, and it was actually super nice, you know? So I think this is a beautiful shade together mixed like this. Really nice. Yeah, so overall we have of course cardboard packaging. We have really cute design here. The back has the ingredients on it. Then you do have a mirror and you do have shade names. I don't really know much about the shade names because I don't know the backstory about maybe this pig, I guess. There is Bonita, there is Strong, there is Unique, there is Peggy, Lally, Mud, Wonder, Queen, and Chocolate. So I don't know in which sense that relates to the pig because I just don't know, you know? What I really like is that the pig has such long lashes. Because, you know, it's like long lashes always vibe with me. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I got this and that I got to try the formula of Metamorphosis, because this is definitely a brand that just recently popped up for me personally in my realm, you know, and I'm super grateful that they reached out to me and wanted to send me something, because, you know, it's just really good. Now, I cannot tell you about staining because of course this is a first impression and this is the first time I've used it. Besides that, blendability was there. A buildability, I think you could also see that I built a lot of shades on top of each other. Creasing, I think you could also see now when I zoomed you in that there was no creasing. And how old is this look by now? By now it's about 4.5 hours old, you know? Yeah, so I think it has held up really, really well. Of course, during the day we shall see, but usually if nothing has creased or separated for the first 2 hours or so, usually I'm fine, you know, so I assume that this is gonna also stay that way. And I have to say that first of all, I really, really love pinks on me, but also like performance-wise, it was really, really nice. And I think you could also see while I was getting ready and while I was telling you this story, that there was no problem in me like doing this, you know. So yeah, so that is that. I should also quickly tell you what I used under my eye, because of course that I did off camera. So I actually used this shade, which is the shade Chocolate, which is a beautiful shade, and I just close to the lash line backed it up a little bit with the shade Mud. And on my waterline I do have like a golden off-white kind of a shade. So of course, as always, you will find everything in the description box that I have on my face, also my discount codes with different brands, and also for more looks, of course, all the links to my social media in case you want to check that out. So yeah, this is that. I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so much again, Metamorphosis, for sending me this. And sweeties, please check out their website. There is a lot going on. They have come out in quite a short time with a lot of nice stuff, and it's all, you know, Metamorphosis is a brand that you recognize because they have already their own style, and I love that about brands. It doesn't need to be in like one certain way, like it doesn't need to be only elegant or only this or only that, but like, I don't know if I'm making myself understood, but I feel like Metamorphosis is one of these brands, like Blush Tribe was, for example, where you already see on the outer packaging that this is Blush Tribe, or this is Metamorphosis, or Rebel Rogue Labs. This is Rebel Rogue Labs. You know, there are certain brands that you just recognize, and this is one of those brands. And I love this, you know, because it sort of shows you that a brand is in its maturity, even if it is a new brand, but the thought process behind the brand is already mature. And I love this. Doesn't mean that the theme needs to be mature, because I mean, like an Oink pig is maybe not the most mature theme for a palette, but the whole thought process behind their releases and the cohesiveness of what they're coming out with, that is the point that is mature, and I love this. Okay, so anyway, that was that. I hope you did enjoy this. Please let me know down in the comments what you think about my story, about Metamorphosis. Have you tried it? Do you want to? Please check out their website for the other products, because really so cute. And besides that, of course, yeah, just let me know how you're doing. And if you're new here and you've made it so far, then please subscribe to my channel, because that would absolutely be lovely. And I shall see all of you here super soon for my next video. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.